the science of plants, botany, the next topic is the branches of botany. So here, as the development was going on, taking place in the science of botany, there the new concepts have been added by acquiring more and more knowledge and accumulating the knowledge from other branches of sciences also. Likewise, the concepts of physics and chemistry have been used for the development of botany. So those branches we call them as biophysics and biochemistry. Along with them, the new techniques have been added such that it leads to formation of one more branch called as molecular biology. Molecular biology means the study of biomolecules and their structure, the repair and other aspects and functions related to the molecules which are present in the living cells. So likewise the new concepts have been going on added, and if you observe the changes during 19th and 20th centuries, the knowledge have been accumulated or abundant knowledge is accumulated. Because of this knowledge, the vastness or the scope of botany have been increased. As the vastness have been increased, so the scientists had made it easy to study the botany by making them into different branches. Branches are made to make easy to study the different aspects related to the plant sciences. Likewise, some of them are the fundamental branches and some of them are the applied branches. Based on that one, let us discuss some of the important branches which are being kept or divided to form the subgroups. Let us start with the first one, morphology. Morphology deals about the study of structure of, or we can say that the gross morphology, the total structure of the plant structures. So like which structure of the plant is studied means each and every part of the plant body is studied, that branch is called as morphology. So it is a fundamental for morphology is considered with a fundamental branch which is useful for the development of plant sciences. Why? Because without knowing the structure of the plants, we can't correlate or know about the other aspects related to the plant sciences. That's why we consider it has to be the fundamental branch which had helped in the development of plant sciences in the course of the time. And morphology was divided into two parts. One is called as internal morphology and other is called as external morphology. First, let us start with external morphology. So here the external morphology deals about the study of external structure of different parts of the plant body. That is a study of external structure of parts of the plant. So which parts of the plant means it may be like root, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits, seeds, etc. That means the external structure of each and every part of the plant body is studied. That branch is called as external morphology. Now let us come to the second branch of morphology, that is internal morphology. So the physical appearance from outside is studied in external morphology, but when we come to the internal morphology, the internal organization of the plants. So internal organization includes the presence of tissues. As we know that living organisms are made up of cells and tissues. So the study of the tissues will be there. related to the internal morphology. Here the study of internal organization of different parts of the plant body. So which parts means, once again the same thing, the internal structure of root, internal structure of stem, internal structure of leaves, internal structure of flower and fruit, seeds, etc. will be studied in the internal morphology. Further, this internal morphology is divided into two further branches. One is called as histology and the second one is called as anatomy. If you observe the lower plants, they are basically made up of only one type of cells, but as the evolution have been taken place, the complexity in the organization of the plants have been increased. So that lead to the formation of different types of cells. So likewise, we study about different types of cells. That are present in the plants. As we know that in the higher plants, so they are having parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem tissues and phloem tissues. The structure of all these tissues will be studied under histology. Then anatomy deals about the gross morphology, in which the arrangement of these tissues. We know that the plant body is fundamentally made up of parenchyma tissue, but in which part of the plant the parenchyma tissue is present and which part of the plant contains collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem and phloem. So that arrangement of those tissues, the position and the arrangement of the tissues inside the plant body is studied under anatomy, which gives the gross morphology of the organism. So likewise, these are the sub branches which are present in the internal morphology. In the branches of botany, next branch is cytology or cell biology. Here the cell was discovered by Robert Hooke, but a living cell was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So here, when the cell was discovered, they know that it have cell membrane or a cell wall like structure where they could able to identify the brief characteristic features of the cell. So when the study of cells have been started, they used to call it as a cytology. But as the development was going on taking place because of the invention of different types of microscopes like compound microscope, electron microscope and phase contrast microscope. So by using those microscopes, the scientists, they started study the detailed structure of the cell and its cell components. So here the study of cell and its components. Not only the study of structure, they study about the functions of all the cell and its cell components. The cell components includes various parts which are present in the cell. Those are cell organelles also. Like what is the structure of the cell, what is the shape of the cell, what are the functions related to the cell. So whether the cell have the cell wall or not, and what is the composition of the cell wall and cell membrane, inside which the protoplasm is present, what is the composition of protoplasm and how the cell organelles are organized inside the cell, and which type of cell organelles are present and what is their functions. So all the things related to this study of cells is called as cell biology. It gives detailed structure and organization and functional aspects of the cell and the cell organelles. So here it also includes the study of all cell organelles, includes nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, that is plastids, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes. So likewise, whatever the cell organs which are present. The study of all this is the part of the cell biology. Next one is the embryology. So embryology is a part of sexual reproduction, where the formation, starting from the formation of gametophytes. So some will have one type of gametophyte, some will have two types. So based on that one, we call monoecious and the dioecious conditions. So here in the lower organisms, only one type of gametophyte is there up to bryophytes, but the two types of gametophyte formation will start in the pteridophytes, which is carried out up to the angiosperms, including gymnosperms. So that is the formation of the gametophyte, and also the formation of gametes. From the gametophyte, the gametes will be produced. So gametes are considered to be the sex cells which are participating in the sexual reproduction, that is male gamete and the female gamete. Based on that one, based on the nature of those gametes, in the lower organisms, isogamous, anisogamous, physiological anisogamous and oogamous conditions are present. But when it comes to the higher organisms, basically they have oogamous type of reproduction, which is considered to be the advanced one. And once the gametes have been formed, the fusion of the gametes, that is a syngamy process. Once the gametes have been formed by the syngamy process, it results in the formation of zygote, which is considered to be the diploid structure. So here the gametes are haploid, whereas when they fertilize, it forms into a diploid structure called as a zygote, and this zygote will be converted into a multicellular diploid structure called as a embryo. So here the embryo formation will start from bryophytes. So here bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So these are the group of plants which produce embryos in their life cycle, and from that embryo, so we know that the plant body will be formed. So all these steps, starting from the formation of gametophyte till the formation of embryo and its growth and development, the development of the embryo will also be considered the part of the embryology. So the study of all these aspects is called as embryology. And here when we are talking about embryology, we should mind to discuss about one person, that is Panchanan Maheshwari. He is a world famous Indian plant embryologist. So he was a person who done in vitro fertilization, by which he become famous throughout the world. Then next branch is palynology. Palynology deals about the study of all aspects of pollen grains. So here what are these pollen grains? Pollen grains are considered to be the male reproductive structures which produce male gametes, and the pollen grain formation is being observed only in gymnosperms and angiosperms. Here the pollen grains are released from the anther and they will reach the stigma, and they will fall on stigma, and the process of further process called as fertilization will be carried out. So here the structure of pollen grains, that is which includes the morphology and how the pollination will be taking place, the functions related to this one, all that aspects which are concerned with the pollen grains will be studied under palynology. Not only the functions and also the development of the pollen grains. So as we know that when the pollen grain falls on the stigma, so in the angiosperms, so it starts producing a pollen tube. The male gametes are released into the pollen tube, and that structure is called as a male gametophyte. So all that we can consider this pollen grains as the first cell of male gametophyte, and pollen grains are otherwise called as microspores also, which are considered to be the first cells of male gametophytic generation. So next branch is taxonomy or plant systematics. Plant taxonomy or plant systematics deals about the three aspects. Those are called as identification, nomenclature and classification. Here the identification is done based on the characterization, based on some particular characteristic features we identify the plant, and after identifying the plant, okay, one more thing, that for identification of the plants we might be using different types of taxonomic aids, and after identification, so they will be given some specific name. Generally we know that binomial nomenclature is followed for that purpose, and after naming them, so based on the similarities and dissimilarities, the plants have been either grouped into same group or kept in different groups. Likewise the grouping is done, it is called as a classification. So the three aspects like identification, nomenclature and classification of the plants is called as a taxonomy or a plant systematics. So here the systematics means the arrangement of things or arrangement of here the plants, because we are talking about the plant systematics, the arrangement of the plants in a systematic order is called as a plant systematics. And the term taxonomy also gives the same meaning, that is taxus means arrangement and normus means according to some law or some rules. So like arrangement of these things according to some rules or principles is called as taxonomy. So based on this taxonomy only we can say that the similar group of plants are kept in one related groups, and the unrelated one, dissimilar characteristic containing plants are kept in unrelated groups. The next one is plant physiology, or we can call here the physiology also. Physiology means the study of metabolism in an organism is called as physiology. So the metabolism includes all the functions which are taking place inside that particular organism. When we are talking about the plant physiology, so here the plants does not have particular system or different systems for performing various functions, but the tissues or the tissue systems will perform those functions. In this one we can say that starting from absorption of water from soil, and along with the water, so minerals are also being absorbed by the plants. So this is done by the roots, and here all these aspects. So one more thing, that the plants require water for their life processes, and water is considered to be the one of the important substrate for photosynthetic process, and without water the plant cannot survive, and nearly 80 to 90% of the plant cells are having water in them. And here we can call this as a plant water relations. So absorption of the water, that will comes under plant water relations, and plant water relations also includes the mineral nutrition. That means here different types of plants require different types of nutrients or minerals which are required for its growth and development. So those nutrients are taken from the soil in the form of water, that is the minerals are dissolved in the water. So when the water is absorbed by the root system, ultimately along with the water the minerals will also enter into the plant body. And after this one, the enzymes will also have some role in metabolic chemical reactions which are taking place inside the body. So here many chemical reactions are taking place. The sum total of all chemical reactions is called as metabolism, and here the chemical reactions may occur in different metabolic process like in photosynthesis and respiration, and each and every chemical reaction is catalyzed by enzymes. There is no such chemical reaction which is not catalyzed by the enzymes in the living cells. That's the reason why enzymes are considered to be the biocatalysts, which are having the catalytic property in converting one substance into other substance. And photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a unique function performed by the plants because they have a pigment called as chlorophyll pigment, which is responsible for performing the photosynthesis, and in this process they prepare their own food materials by using the substrates like carbon dioxide and water by in presence of sunlight, or deriving the energy from sunlight and chlorophyll molecule. So this type of characteristic features where it may occur by C3 cycle or by C4 cycle, depending upon whether the plant is an temperate, subtropical or the tropical plant. So likewise they are preparing the food materials by this process called as photosynthesis, where intake of carbon dioxide and releasing of oxygen will takes place. Then respiration. Here respiration is a process which provide energy for all which is used for all other metabolic functions. So here we consider photosynthesis as an anabolic process, where it is a constructive process in which simpler molecules are converted into complex molecules, whereas respiration is considered to be the catabolic process, where complex molecules are broken down into simpler molecules. When the complex molecules are broken down into simpler molecules, the energy which is present in that complex molecules will be released. So that's why we consider respiration is an catabolic process and exergonic process also. And here in this process of respiration, oxygen is taken and carbon dioxide is released out. So it occurs by aerobic process and anaerobic process. Generally aerobic respiration will occur in the eukaryotic organisms and anaerobic respiration will occur in the prokaryotic organisms. That is in presence of oxygen, if respiration occurs, we call it as aerobic respiration. If respiration occurs in absence of oxygen also, we call it as anaerobic respiration. Apart from this one, the plant will show growth and development also. So how can we say that growth is taking place in the plants? Means there will be increase in the size of the plant and increase in a change in the mass. The irreversible change where there is a change in increase in the size is called as a growth. So here the growth will occur and development also takes place only when some growth hormones are produced inside the plant. Like as we know that auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid, ethylene are some of the plant growth hormones which are produced inside the plant and required for growth and development. And the role of those hormones in the growth and development is also being studied under plant physiology. Apart from that one, there is an relationship between the duration of light on the growth and development and flowering of the plants, that is called as photoperiodism. So likewise the blooming of the flowers is possible based on that one. Short day plants, long day plants and day neutral plants are there. And at the same time there is an relation between the temperature, the cold treatment of cold temperature on the flowering also, on the life process, that is called as vernalization, that is also been studied under this plant growth and development. So all these aspects have been studied under the plant physiology. Next branch is plant ecology. So ecology deals about the study of reciprocal relationship between the organism and its surroundings. But when you are talking about the plant ecology, the reciprocal relationship between plants and their surroundings. As we know that there will be some coordination and relationship between the plants and its surroundings, because the plants are taking the carbon dioxide which is released from the animals and purifying the environment. At the same time the plants are releasing oxygen, that is the way how they are purifying the environment. Likewise the relationship will be existing. Apart from that one, the plants will take up water from the soil and minerals. Likewise the reciprocal relationship is existing, that is called as a plant ecology. In this plant ecology, so how these plants are showing effect on the surroundings and how the surroundings are showing effect on the life of that plants. So in that process what happens, some plants will get adapted to that changing environmental conditions. All that will be studied under plant ecology. And also apart from that one, So the entire ecosystem or ecology is divided into the food chains and food webs and trophical levels also. So here in the trophical levels, we know that the basic trophical level or the fundamental one is the producers, always it occupies the basal one, which is considered to be the food producing trophic level. After that one, the dependents are present, which may be in the form of consumers and some in the form of decomposers also. The consumers includes primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers and top carnivores also. Once the death of any plant or animal occurs, the decomposers, or we can call them as a recyclers, they will act on the dead parts of the plant and animals, and they convert the complex food materials into simpler forms. That all that aspects will be studied under plant ecology. Next one, paleobotany. So we know that in the course of evolution, new plants are formed, or the changes which occur in the plant species which may lead to the formation of new species also. And the plants which were existing some long back, those are called as a fossil plants. So here the study of the fossil plants is called as paleobotany. And what is the significance of this paleobotany, or what is the need of, what is the use of studying the fossil plants means? So to know the evolutionary changes which occur in the due course of time, that can be correlated or studied by using this paleobotany, or it is useful to understand the evolutionary changes which are taking place in the course of time. So here we have to discuss about one person who is Indian, who is an Indian. So that is Professor Birbal Sahani. He is a famous paleobotanist, and here he was the first person in India to is a pioneer, we can consider, in the study of paleobotany. And by taking the inspiration from this person, many other scientists or many other persons later, they also started studying about the fossil plants. So this person had studied about the fossil plants in the Rajmahal Hills, and come to know that how the changes are taking place in the course of time. So next branch is genetics. Genetics deals about the study of all aspects related to genes. We know that genes are the one which are responsible for the transfer of traits from one generation to the another generation. And here initially these were called as factors by Mendel, scientist, who is considered to be the father of genetics. And genes are concerned with the heredity or inheritance. Here not only inheritance, sometimes it may lead to variations also. That is, some characters may not appear in the parental generation, such type of characters may be present in the progeny, so that new characters which are occurring in the progeny and transferred to the next generations is called as variations, and it may lead to mutations also. So all these aspects are related with the genes. So here not only about heredity, variations and mutations, the study of structure and function of the genes is the part of genetics. And here it is worth mention to know about one person, that is G.J. Mendel, Gregor Johann Mendel, who is considered to be the father of genetics. Already we had discussed about this scientist in the earlier class, where he conducted hybridization experiments on pea plant, where he proposed some laws of inheritance. Okay, so this is about the genetics. The next one is phytogeography. Here the distribution of plants in present and past periods is called as phytogeography. The study of distribution of plants in present and past period is called as phytogeography. We know that plants will occupy different types of habitats. It may be aquatic, terrestrial, in the terrestrial also mesophytic or xerophytic habitat may be there. And what is the reason why they are able to survive in that particular type of habitats, and what is the habitat significance in their life. So, how they have been adapting to that environmental conditions, that is also the part of the phytogeography. Next branch of botany is plant pathology. Pathology deals about the study of diseases. So, not only about the study of diseases, what are the symptoms and curative and preventive measures for that disease. So, that aspect is called as pathology, and here the plant pathology means the study of the plant diseases is called as a plant pathology. So, in this one here, in this plant pathology, what are the symptoms of the disease and study of the causative organism, that is we can call it as pathogen which is causing the disease. The study of the pathogen, the life cycle of the pathogen, how it is making that symptoms or disease into that particular organism, and prevention, curing the disease, and how to eradicate the disease. All this will be studied under the plant pathology. Next one is phycology. In the plant kingdom, we know that the first one are the algae group of plants. So, here the study of algae is called as phycology. So, here algae are the photoautotrophic, thalloid, chlorophyllous organisms. So, photoautotrophic, that is they can prepare the food materials by themselves and by performing a function called as photosynthesis. And the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. So, that is why we call it as a thalloid plant body, and they have chlorophyll molecules which is useful for the photosynthetic process. So, the study of such type of organisms, that is photoautotrophic, thalloid and chlorophyllous organisms, is called as phycology. Then next one is mycology. Here the study of fungi is called as mycology, and the fungi includes non-chlorophyllous, heterotrophic and thalloid organisms. The study of non-chlorophyllous, heterotrophic, thalloid organisms, thallophyta group of organisms, is called as mycology. And here the fungi are not having chlorophyll molecule, that is the reason why they depend upon the other living organisms for their nutrition. That is why we call them as heterotrophic in their nature. And the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf, that is why the plant body is called as a thalloid plant body. There are some similarities between algae and fungi, because both of them are belonging to thallophyta due to thalloid plant body. That means we can say that phycology means the study of thallophyta organisms which are chlorophyllous, and mycology means the study of thallophyta organisms which are non-chlorophyllous in their nature. Next one is lichenology or lichenology. Here lichens are the structures which are formed by the symbiotic association between an algal member and a fungal member. Mostly the algal member will be Cyanophyceae, fungal member will be either Ascomycetes or the Basidiomycetes member. The algal member is called as Phycobiont, whereas the fungal member is called as Mycobiont. This association is a mutual beneficial association, that is both of them are benefited by this association, because algal member, as we know, it is an chlorophyllous and photosynthetic. It can prepare its own food material and it will provide that food materials to the fungal member, whereas fungal member will absorb water and minerals and also provide that water and minerals to the algal member. Apart from that one, the fungal member will provide protection to the algal member also. Likewise, both of them are present in one form or one structure and helping each of them. So this type of association is called as lichens, and the study of these lichens is called as lichenology. Next one, bryology. Here bryology deals about the study of bryophytes. So what are these bryophytes? In the course of evolution, we know that first formed are the Thallophyta, which includes algae and fungi, and the next group are the bryophytes. So bryophytes are considered to be the first land plants, and these are considered to be the amphibians of the plant kingdom. So the study of this, otherwise we can call them as a primitive land plants also. So the study of these organisms is called as a bryology, and here some of the bryophytes have thalloid plant body and some of them will have the differentiation of the plant body into root, stem and the leaves. So this is about bryology. The next one is the pteridology. Here the pteridology includes the study of pteridophyta plants or pteridophytes. In the course of evolution, after bryophytes, the next group of plants that have been formed are the pteridophytes, and these pteridophytes are considered to be the first complete land plants, and these are called as a vascular cryptogams. As we know that cryptogams means non-flowering plants, and this is the only one group of non-flowering plants which contain vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem are present. So that's the reason why we call them as a vascular cryptogams. So here the study of these organisms is called as pteridology. Then microbiology. Microbiology includes the study of microorganisms. So microorganisms are those which we cannot see with our naked eyes. They require a microscope for observing their structure. Here the microorganisms includes starting from viruses, bacteria, mycoplasmas, and some of the protozoans, some algae and also some fungi. So the study of all those microorganisms is called as microbiology. But here microbiologists are the persons who study about microorganisms, but at the same time the microbiologists are not only studying about some microscopic organisms, but they also started studying about some macroscopic organisms. That is the reason why here instead of the size of that organisms, we consider the technique which is used for the studying those organisms. That's why here the microbiology deals about the study of the microorganisms. In this one, we know that as a many types of microorganisms have been going on identified. So they divided this microbiology into bacteriology and virology. So as we said that bacteria and viruses are the part of microbiology only, but here as the number of bacteria have been going on increasing, different types are being identified, they separated this study of bacteria as a separate branch. So here which is called as a bacteriology, the study of bacteria. So the study of bacteria includes not only the structure, size, shape, morphology, it also includes the study of nutrition, the composition, reproduction and the diseases which are caused by the bacteria. And next one is the study of viruses is called as virology. So here also the virology includes the study of structure, cell, organization, size, morphology, structure, reproduction, all the aspects related to the viruses. So all this is part of the virology, and these are some of the important branches which are being placed under branches of botany.